Marlene Warren had no known enemies. She was a young mother of a son named Joe. He was there. He was around 20 years old. He was there with his friends on a weekend, and a clown comes to the door in their sleepy residential community, hands his mother's flowers, and then shoots her in the head. He then is shocked and then runs after the perpetrator, and the individual in the clown costume gets into a white Chrysler LeBaron and drives away. Nothing was stolen. It wasn't like a armed robbery. It was just someone who had this purpose in mind. And why? Marlene Warren wasn't part of the mafia. She wasn't involved with crime. And the community was the community of Wellington, Florida. Anyone here live in Wellington? Oh, yeah. Now, back in 1990, Wellington was a very sleepy community. There was really nothing going on there. Now, you got a lot more, but still, it's 30 minutes west of West Palm Beach. You got to know where you were going to get there. It's not like you're just stumbling upon Wellington. You've got to know where you were going and who you were targeting. Marlene died 2 days later after being shot in the head by this evil clown. And the justice search was on. And so who would do such a thing? Well, we have some evidence. According to Joe, who was there, the killer was tall, was thin, had dark eyes, walked in a manly fashion, wore this clown outfit, and wore combat boots. Not clown shoes, combat boots. Like the clown was intending on an easier getaway. It's tough to walk in clown shoes, right? It's tough to run in clown shoes. This clown did not speak. The clown handed Marlene flowers and a balloon that said, "You're the greatest," and then escaped. As I said, nothing was taken. She had no known enemies. But here's the thing. If Marlene was targeted, then how would the clown know that she was home? You're not going to drive 30 minutes in this big clown getup with clown makeup, with the balloons and the flowers, only to be like, "Oh no, come back another day." Whoever did it had to know she was there on that Saturday. So, here's the investigation. They found out that Publix supermarket sold the same style of balloons and flowers. Now, they didn't have the video that showed her getting in there or him getting in there to buy the flowers, but they found out that the same style of flowers and balloons were sold at Publix. Okay, they interviewed all the Publix employees. They went from place to place to place, and they found employees who said that on that morning, it was a woman with long brown hair and dark eyes who walked in a manly fashion, who purchased similar balloons and flowers. And there's the receipt. So then, they wanted to find the clown costume. So law enforcement went to all these different costume shops, and they found a shop called Spotlight Capizio. It's a costume dance store. And they talked to the women who worked there. And the women who worked there said, "Well, as a matter of fact, we were closing up shop a couple days ago when a woman knocked on our door after the doors were locked and said, 'I need to get in. Please, I need to buy a clown costume.' So they opened the door. This woman had long, dark hair and chocolate brown eyes. She walked in a manly fashion. She wore a blue-collar work shirt, cargo pants, and combat boots. And when they offered her the clown shoes, she said, 'No, I need the whole clown costume, but not the shoes. And I need extra white makeup. I need to have my face covered entirely.' So they sold it to her. Then, a big break in the investigation. The police found the white Chrysler LeBaron abandoned, and they discovered inside the car orange fibers from a wig and strands of long, dark human hair matching, they didn't know it was a match at that point. Long strands of dark human hair. So what they did was police then purchased a wig at that costume store and then matched the fibers from the wig to the fibers found in the abandoned car. So here's a crazy story. So the victim's husband, Michael Warren, I know a lot of you are already going there, right? I mean, right away, I've got to tell you, right away, you guys are a very sophisticated group. When I tell you that a clown killed an innocent woman at her home who had no known enemies, with no robbery, how many of you went right to the husband? Right away, right? Yeah. So did police. The husband had an alibi, though, and I'm going to get to that. But let's talk about that husband, Michael Warren. Michael Warren was involved with some sketchy stuff. Michael Warren had a rental car place called A Bargain Motors. And in their ad, they tried to imitate Payless car. They had in their ad, in fact, let me show you. So if you were driving a Payless rental car, which is a big company, and you needed to return the car, you may look up the ad for the phone number. See, back then for you youngsters, we had things called yellow pages. We couldn't just Google it. There was no Google. And that's what the cars looked like. That was very fashionable back in the day. So you looked up the ad in the yellow pages and you said, aha, there's Payless. So you had this couple who called Payless, say, hey, we're in a rush, we need to drop off the car, where are you located? Oh, yeah, come on, bring it in. And they gave this couple the address for their A Bargain Motors. Also, they wanted to steal business from Payless, so they used Payless in their ads. They got sued by Payless. Payless was like, you're stealing our trademark. So in this case, you had a couple who was returning a car to Payless that instead dropped it off at A Bargain Motors. And the employees at A Bargain Motors knew, because this was what they did. This was their theft. And guess what car was dropped off? A white Chrysler LeBaron. So Michael Warren had access to the white Chrysler LeBaron because his company fraudulently stole it. All right. Oh yeah, Michael Warren has a mistress. I know it's going to shock you that a guy who steals from people has a mistress. And he did, and they drove to dinner in Jupiter in the LeBaron. It's about a 25-minute drive. Do you know that Michael Warren, showed up so often at his mistress's apartment that the neighbors thought they were married? They were open and notorious about it. Oh, well, let's talk about the mistress. There she was. Sheila Keen. Oh, long dark hair. Brown eyes. People described her having manly features. Well, what's her title, Michael Warren? Oh, how about the fact that she owned a car repossession business with her husband? So if you're not familiar with car repos, so when someone leases a car and stops paying, you go to that person's home, wherever it is, and you take it back. And it's a dangerous business. You ever see Repo Man? It's dangerous. Because people are like, you're stealing my car. Like, no, I'm repossessing it. So she was repoing cars for Michael Warren. And they had an obvious affair. She was separated from her husband around the time of the murder. She carried a gun because of her business. And she was often seen wearing combat boots. She also loudly would express in front of Michael's employees how life would be so much better if Michael's wife, Marlene, was out of the picture. So police search her home. And what do they find? White clown makeup, but no clown costume. Hold on a second here. Wait, so you buy a clown costume, right? And then after your party, you throw it away? Is that what you normally do? These clown costumes are expensive. They find orange fibers in her closet that are consistent with that sample wig. Oh, and they find multiple pairs of combat boots in her closet. And I know, look, I'm sure a lot of people here have multiple pairs of combat boots in your closet, right? How many people here wear combat boots a lot? What? Oh, man. Oh, one. Okay, there we go. One. If you ask me, and I don't like to criticize prosecutors and police from back in the 90s because that's a different era. 1990, not even the 90s, 1990. But it seems like, to me, they have enough evidence to charge this woman. How about the fact that right before the murder, she went to her mother's house to recover her gun, which was the same caliber weapon as the one used to kill Marlene? Come on.